The era of PlayStation 4 is pretty much done, but it's still got some hidden tricks up its sleeve. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on gameranx, 10 things you didn't know your PlayStation 4 could do. Starting off at number 10, you can turn off a DualShock 4 by holding the PlayStation button for about 10 seconds. Now, it's a simple one that a lot of people just seem to be completely unaware about. A simple way to immediately turn off your DualShock 4 controller is just press the PlayStation button for around 10 seconds and it'll shut off. It's a simple and easy way to power down your controller without a lot of trouble, but it does take, obviously, 10 seconds. That feels like a long time when your intent is to walk into another room or whatever, and you could probably hold the PlayStation button down for a second and then go to sound and device in the quick menu and turn off device. That might be faster, but if you don't want to bother with all that, just holding on the PlayStation button is a good alternative to hunting through menus. And again, you could carry your PlayStation controller into the other room holding the button down as it's turning off. In a lot of discussions on the internet, it seems like people are legitimately just surprised this controller shutdown method even exists. At number 9, if you press the PlayStation and square button simultaneously, you can zoom in. It's another interesting feature that is often overlooked. If you've ever struggled to see something in a game and the text options aren't doing it for you, there's a little accessibility option that can come in handy. If you go into the accessibility tab, go to options and turn on the zoom setting, like it's right at the top, not difficult to find, but with no explanation of it, it's one of those options that's really easy to overlook. Once it's on, just press the PlayStation button and square at the same time and it'll zoom in on your screen. You can use this anywhere in menus, in game, etc. And from here you can view different sections of the screen or just press circle to cancel out the zoom entirely. The button combo is a little awkward to hit, but once you get the hang of it, it's actually pretty handy to have, especially when a game's got tiny text. Even if you aren't struggling to read certain things, if the type's small enough, it can still strain your eyes to look at it, which can actually result in nasty headaches, so you can avoid that, turn on the zoom function, and, well, it's nice to have available from time to time. At number 8, you can turn off the console once the controller is done charging. If you're a little OCD about your console power usage, this trick might come in a little handy for you. If you've got a controller plugged into the PS4, it'll default to rest mode when you turn it off. This is so the controller will actually charge. If the power to the system was totally off, the controller wouldn't charge at all, so it's kind of necessary if you want to keep the controller ready when you boot the system up. What can be annoying is that the console won't turn off automatically until it's been in rest mode for a while, so if you want to fully turn the system off, then you actually have to turn the controller on again, go through the system settings, and turn the system off. It's extremely inefficient, but there's actually a faster way. For one thing, you need to know when the controller's fully charged. When it's charging, the light bar on the controller actually pulses light, and the closer it is to being fully charged, the slower that light pulse is. Once it's fully charged, the light's a solid color. So when it's a solid color, just press and hold the power button for 5 seconds and the console will totally shut off, saving you the trouble of turning the whole thing back on again just to actually shut it off. Rest mode is one of those useful settings that's great for a lot of things, but it makes the simple process of turning your console off sometimes more complicated than it needs to be. And if you use your console to charge your controller, this little trick is one of the fastest and simplest ways to turn off your console while making sure the controller is still properly charged. At number 7, you could push square on hidden trophies, and they'll tell you what they are. So, if you're a trophy hunter, these secret trophies can be really annoying to deal with, to say the least. It's nice that they hide spoilers, but if you're actively searching for something, then these blank descriptions are pretty annoying and obscure your search for the trophy. With the 4.0 update, Sony actually made a pretty big change to how hidden trophies work, and it's not exactly an update that a lot of attention was paid to. It was like 4 years ago, and a lot of people never realized this was even an added feature. It works basically how I described it at the start of this point. While looking at a hidden achievement, just press square and it reveals what it is. It's pretty obvious when you're actually looking at the achievement, but how many people are going to scroll through hidden achievements to figure this out anyways? That's the main reason this feature gets overlooked. Like, people just don't think there's anything to see here, so they don't go back and look at it. And if you already knew about that, there is actually more to it. If you press the options button while looking at a trophy, there's a search internet button that will automatically open up a web search with the trophy in the search bar so you can look up how to find it. It's actually a pretty cool little feature that's a bit of a precursor to the guides offered on PS5. Not quite as sophisticated, obviously, but depending on what you're looking for, the information you find online is probably better than what you can get officially anyways. At number 6, you can double tap the PlayStation button to swap between games and apps. Another little thing that a lot of people don't seem to be aware about is double tapping this button when you've got a couple of things open, like maybe a game, maybe an app, and you can quickly swap between the two rather than having to scroll back to each one on the main menu. It can be a little finicky depending on the app. Switching between games and certain video platforms doesn't work great, but if you got a web page open, like you're using an internet app, or you've got messages open, this is a really fast and easy way to swap between your game and the other thing you've got open. For stuff like achievement hunting, this can be incredibly useful. Or if you just have trouble focusing on any one thing, this saves you a few seconds between switching views, which doesn't sound like much, but starts to add up after a while. And number 5, you can use any screenshot or picture as your background. Here's a simple thing that a lot of people miss. You don't have to use PlayStation approved themes as your background for the PS4. You can actually make your own custom backgrounds, either from console screenshots or by importing pictures from a USB device. Any screenshot will do, including ones taken off the home menu itself or stuff you grab off the web app. While we're talking about the home screen, it's also possible to make folders and fill them with whatever you want. Just highlight a game or app, hit the options button, select add to folder. From there, you can either add the item to an existing folder or create an entirely new one. It's simple, but if you'd like to keep your home screen organized or just want easy access to a specific selection of games, it's a handy option. At number 4, you don't have to use Bluetooth to connect to your controller. This is a pretty specific option, but one that some people don't necessarily know is possible and can be pretty helpful in certain situations. You can actually switch how your controller connects to the PS4. It only works with the DualShock 4 V2s, which are the ones with the little light bar on top of the touchpad. But if you go into the settings and devices and controllers, you can find an option called communication method, which has two options, either Bluetooth, which is standard, or USB cable. Normally, a controller connects to the system using Bluetooth, even if you have it plugged in with a cable. Depending on your setup though, having a lot of Bluetooth devices running at the same time can actually cause interference though, or maybe you prefer to just have a controller that turns off instantly when you unplug it. Either way, the fact you can actually change how a controller connects is pretty handy. It's a little more of a niche concern, but if you're more of an old school type who finds messing with Bluetooth more annoying than anything else, it's nice to have the option to just shut it off. Personally, I have actually run into issues running PC games off Bluetooth and a controller at the same time, so being able to shut at least one of them off temporarily can actually be pretty helpful. And number 3, you can delete a game off your trophy list if it's at 0% completion. Now, if you're a hardcore trophy hunter, you having a black mark on your profile can be pretty annoying. Any game with 0% completion on your list is just going to bring down your overall trophy average. So a simple and handy feature Sony eventually added was the ability to just delete games that have 0%. Just having one trophy is enough that you can no longer remove it, but if it's a game that you haven't touched, you're free to delete it and never see it again, or at least until you have time to actually play the game and get some achievements. That might seem like a kind of petty addition to some people, but for certain players who like to keep their trophy list looking good, having some random game they got for free appear on the list with nothing done on it is annoying. All you have to do to delete it is highlight the game while in the trophy menu and select delete. The option only appears if you don't have any trophies. Any game with them will not show this option, so there's really no danger of you deleting something you don't want to, and it doesn't remove the game from your account or anything, it just hides the trophies until you actually sit down and get one. At number 2, you can get audio through basically anything by plugging in devices to your PlayStation controller. It's a little strange trick that makes sense when you think about it, but it's surprising. You can get PlayStation 4 audio through just about any sound system by plugging in a DS4 controller into it. Works for stereos, Bluetooth players, basically anything that has an audio jack. It's even possible to connect your DS4 to a PC using the sound cards line in, get your audio to play on your PC. I am not sure what real purpose there is for doing that, but if you wanted to play a PS4 through your PC monitor and you don't have built-in speakers, that's probably the solution for you. And finally, you can play your PS4 through an Xbox One. This is just dumb, but it's technically possible to play your PS4 by connecting it to an Xbox One or an Xbox One X. The only reason it's possible is because there's an HDMI in port on the Xbox that lets you pass through any HDMI device to the console, but as advised by Microsoft, it's not exactly the most optimal setup. Like, people report pretty severe input lag while doing this little trick, so other than being a novelty, it's not really viable. It's also not possible with the Series X and S, which removed the HDMI in entirely. There's a certain strange novelty to playing a PlayStation system through an Xbox though, but in actual terms, it's not really a good idea. It's not going to damage your system or anything, but the level of input lag you'll experience makes playing most games nearly impossible because really most games have some element of timing to them. If you can find a game that has literally no element of timing to it, you can probably play that fine, but good luck. Also, depending on your system, it won't look great either, as 1080p is the highest resolution capable using this method. So pretty pointless, but it is possible. That's all for today. Leave us a comment, let us know what you think. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week. Best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription, so click subscribe. Don't forget to enable all notifications, and as always, thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter at Falcon the Hero. We'll see you next time right here on gameranx.